Welcome everyone, welcome to tonight's glorious events. We will continue this crazy time that's been a blast. So, without further ado, let's kick things off and get an update from everyone on where things are at. Yari, we were just talking about the PZ server. You want to go on and talk about what's going on in your neck of the woods and everything going on?
Yeah, actually, modding the server is a lot easier now that it's updated, so everybody should be able to log on no matter what time of the day. And we set it up because we all talked as a community that maybe having the server reset automatically at 4 a.m. Pacific Standard Time and 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time would help keep things updated and stuff. And for the most part, it's worked. So I have more free time on my hands instead of just working on the coding of the stupid server. Big files. But D&D is going to be back tomorrow, and Fallout Aurora will be back this Saturday. I am preparing to... Well, last Medieval Dynasty stream we had, one of our viewers was a larger streamer than I, and he said he wanted to contact the devs and have them reach out to me to do sponsored streams.
Ooh.
I'm going to advise to the devs that that's not a good idea. Do not have the content or the mouth that is appropriate to market a game.
Yeah, I get that.
And if my normal community sees me being all polite and chipper and not myself, then it's going to be really awkward.
Well,
however,
if they're willing to sponsor you to be yourself, man.
Yeah, well, that's possible, but you got to be careful with that because...
Oh, yeah.
As sponsors will always tell you, no, you can just do what you do, and then they do what they did to PewDiePie and so many other people, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody goes, well, PewDiePie's such a large streamer, that shouldn't make sense. I'm like, but that's the thing. Large streamers normally get away with murder because they bring in the dollars. In PewDiePie's case, who's the biggest YouTuber, period, they still came down on him about that. So I'm not going to take any chances.
Yeah.
But I have been asked, because I do have the Long Dark, I'm going to brush up on my skills, but I have been asked by the Long Dark community, which has a few pretty large streamers, to do what I do to Medieval Dynasty to Long Dark. So there will be another chat versus streamer night. Don't know when,
Alright.
but it's coming.
That sounds awesome, dude. Alright, Dumgra, what's been happening in your area? I saw you were on earlier today.
Yeah, I've been playing a lot of Dying Light 2. I've been enjoying that, having fun with the whole little overhype of it on Twitch, but been loving all the people watching me. But today I reached out on my Twitter. I'm looking for people who want to help translate my mods on my DayZ workshop mods. I already have someone willing to do Spanish and someone willing to do German for me. I'm just looking for other languages. Because I can make my mods automatically translate the language based off of the settings you put inside of the DayZ game itself as a client. So you can set the language to whatever you want. And my mods don't have that ability right now, so I'm just going to look for people to do it. So if you know anybody who wants to translate stuff for me for DayZ my mods, please hit me up in my PMs.
All right.
I might have a couple Russian DayZ modders. I have to see if they're still doing it.
Look forward to that.
Definitely. Awesome. Anything from Raven or Plaid?
Nothing from me. This is my last session for this game, unfortunately. But I'll still gonna watch the stream and when I can. Well, at least not live, but I can watch a bit. So it's been fun. But,
The fun of work. We'll miss you, man.
Yeah, miss you guys too. But still
You
got
gotta
one more
live.
session. Yeah.
We get it. Anything for you, Plaid?
Nothing stream-wise. I mean, I'm in your all's Project Zomboid server and trying to get the Raiders got
A
going there.
bloody raider, man! A bloody raider!
You know what, though? I gotta say, I've had a couple interactions with Boss Man, and I freaking love him.
He's awesome, yeah.
Like, to this day, Barbecue goes onto his stream and talks about the time he was terrorized by the Raiders just following him in a truck with a siren on. I thought that was genius.
Nice.
Other than that, I'm trying to get more and more of my Cyberpunk setting for 5e worked on.
Cool. Well, if you ever want to chat about that, let me know. I like D&D stuff. I'm sure you can't tell by any of the... Oh wait, you're in both my games. Never mind.
I do have a question for that maybe some of the viewers will be interested in. Is this going to be following like Cyberpunk Red or Cyberpunk 2033? Or is this going kind of more in the direction of Blade Runner or even... oh dang it, what's that show called on Netflix? I have the books. The one about
Altered Carbon?
Altered Carbon.
Altered Carbon. Thank you so much, guys. God, my allergy medicine's making me dumb. But are you
Yes,
thinking
the
more
allergy
following
medicine.
Cyberpunk or doing one of those?
It is kind of along the lines of Altered Carbon a little bit. It's set in those worlds, but it is its own kind of setting. It's not like the Cyberpunk games, though.
I might, let me know, plan.
The quick summary of it is basically that it's the corporations of a cyberpunk world caused the economy to collapse, and one of the companies that was a small starter works their way through pulling strings to become the monopoly corporation that controls like the industry.
That sounds a lot like Shadowrun, too.
But this is set like post Shadowrun-esque kind of thing.
You're dragon.
Where it's been like hundreds of years later, and in order to have a life, you have to be part of this like VR MMO kind of world where gold and real world money are inexchangeable. And if you're not involved in that, then yeah. So it's like a split game.
Interesting.
Where you have the real world and the fantasy character you play too.
Well, let us know if you need players.
Yeah, that sounds really cool.
Sounds like Jarl and I are both want to join your game, Plaid. So let us know.
Especially since the company you described totally sounds like Vault-Tec. Started off as a small company and then ended up getting a monopoly on everything. I'm down.
It's like Vault-Tec meets Wayland Yutani.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Vault-Tec, Wayland Yutani. Yeah. That's kind of what I was getting the vibe. Yeah. And it almost seems like it might have a bit of flavor from Paranoia in it, too, where it's like, the over mind. You have to, obey the big boss overseeing everything.
I think that's such a cool idea, too, because it basically combines Matrix and Cyberpunk together. So it's a really, really awesome idea.
Yeah. I mean, it's a similar concept to what I had for the sci-fi game, so I definitely love it. Where you take all of them, kind of combine them in a nice way. So, yeah, I am right there with you, Jarl. It sounds awesome. So, unfortunately, Raven will be bailing out of my sci-fi game and this one. So I wouldn't mind getting another person or two to join those games. So if you guys know anyone who is interested and available, let me know. Jarl, if I could convince you to have your Thursdays available, I'd love to have you in the sci-fi game.
Oh, man. I would love it, but I'm already just dedicating so much time to stuff.
No, I know.
Honey, I will say if work starts to chill out after this tax season, things might change.
Okay. But yeah, if you're available to join the Thursday one, there's always an open seat for you.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Hey, guys, I'm sorry, dude. I fucking fell. I hit my head, and I'm
Ow.
out. I forgot my miniatures were out. My miniature case was out of my office, and I have a table in here full of miniatures, and I backed up I fell over my case. A $1 million baby hit my head right on the spinal cord. I'm like staggering around.
Ow.
I'm here for the game. Goddammit.
Are you all right? Do you need to get that taken care of?
No, I'm fine, dude. Just get the game going. I'm sorry, I forgot about the game, because
it's fine.
I told you, I'm struggling, dude.
That's legitimate reason. Just don't let yourself on fire.
You dirty for that, bro. You dirty for that.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
Who remembers that? I mean, only Plaid Weasel and
Raven.
Raven, only people that know that.
Yeah, I don't know if dumping.
Guys, I was playing the game and then I set myself on fire with a cigarette. I dropped a cherry and I set myself on fire in the middle of the Twitch stream.
Right as his character was in a position of probably dying, he goes ahead and starts, trying to feel for his character by burning himself.
Oh, and Kaz Drek died. My demon hustler con man, he died.
Ironically.
Hey, we tried to keep him alive. We tried.
And then Raven's such a gangster. Raven goes off. Dude, he goes on a rampage, like a quiet rampage. He goes invisible, starts to sneak into the jail to get the woman that killed me because
it wasn't a woman.
I had sex with a arachnid bartender.
Yeah.
Great. Do you hear that, guys? This is how you get drow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Babe, I have a game. I'm sorry. I'll be on until 10.
Yeah. No. It was.
Every other Tuesday. I'm sorry.
It was interesting because
All right, so
one of
you have like 3 hours to just do your own thing.
Yep, that was the sci-fi game that we're doing. So if any of you want to have exciting times like was just talked about, you can join us on Thursday as well.
So this is my new character. Yeah, can I talk about my new character? I know it's 7:30. I already missed the let it go time. But y'all mind if I talk? I explain my new character.
Do it quick and yes, and then we'll have someone who wants to do the summary, and then we'll have you do that right after
I
he's
can't
done.
do the summary. I don't remember I'm out. I'm kind of spacing.
I'll do the summary.
Okay.
Great. Boy, Bjork, I'm your weapon. Remember that. Like until something changes, I'm Bjork's weapon. You know, because that's the way we negotiated all this deal. You know. Anyway, so I have a new character, Zal. He's a fungus, and he's super intelligent, super charismatic, but he doesn't understand being nice. He calls humans mammals. You know, and he's just. But because the planet that he came from, if you have powers, like if you're part of the collective, you know, if the collective gives you powers, they put you in concentration camps. And my character Zal was the first one to have both tainted and touched powers, and so he got his own concentration camp. So he has this black fungus growing all over him constantly. That's the collective. You can't even see Zal. It's like he's covered in black fungus. I love the character. He's so awesome. I'm sorry that Cass died because Cass is a instrumental figure in the party, you know. But it's great. I mean, like it's great. All right, I'm done.
So yeah, that's the sci-fi game, and we'll zoom in now. We find the party in a dungeon, deep dark dungeon, with nefarious deeds just being interrupted. We ended right at the end of you guys interrupting.
I'm sorry. I'm really manic right now. I'm really bad about interrupting. I'll be quiet.
So you're in that dungeon, and you just completed
can you get out of the volume?
Interrupting.
It's on the mantle.
The ritual that was about to be completed there. Uncertain as to what it would have involved, we zoom in and find Bjork there, pondering and remembering the recent events. Take it away, Bjork.
The sense of dread I got for this place is now gone. Whatever was here, we've interrupted, put an end to it. And now the place finally feels clean. Bjork turns and watches the others in his group grabbing what they could find. Lambast, for example, finding the armor that I showed him. And we're just collecting the gold and preparing to ship out.
Wow.
We've already checked.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
Oh, I didn't hear what you said, sorry.
Well, I wanted to talk to you. I'm talking to my wife.
You can mute if you want.
So, basically, he's watching the group finish up, and he's done with this place. This is the third or fourth time they've been back, and it's been arduous every time, but it's always felt like the biggest threat, and I don't think Bjork realized until this last time they've entered. He was rushing his way through it because now he feels like the biggest threat is the state of home. A new Jarl, a war looming, all the dots connecting, a town that was razed. Now we're worried about people and not the undead or creatures lurking in the shadows, and it's kind of a disconcerting feeling to him.
Yes. In fact, well, the thought is someone is on their way home. And that is something that is disconcerting, that both excited and fearful for what it could mean. Because if your dear friend returns, sarcasm on friend, then there's going to be issues to be had. For Vigo and the other housecarls are supposed to be coming home any day now. But it's uncertain if they shall or it was expected they may have already been here. The deadline for their return is nearing. And so that is where...
We haven't already taken care of the Loki? The Loki curse? Are we in good shape?
Are you?
I don't know, Bjork?
Vigo's still a force to be dealt with. He's
Yeah,
not...
out of character, we're not in good shape because the Jarl was so infuriated he was being taken over. He's basically left and assigned his brother in charge.
Well, his son perished as part of it.
Yes, I'm trying to summarize though.
Okay.
But basically, in the political state of things, we are not ready for Vigo or any of his men to return.
Well, we got an excellent group right here, you know? I mean, does Hal have his powers back yet? Raven?
Raph?
Raph, yeah.
I don't remember if I have 100% back, but I think I did. I can't remember now. Did I, Dine?
You had some.
Did you ever go on your spirit quest?
I don't believe you did 100%, but you were back at least like 2/3.
Because we never actually had the session that I went through it. See if I got back all my powers technically.
Yeah, there was that.
Can't believe Raven's leaving in 2 weeks. That's crazy, man.
This is his last week in this game.
Oh man, that's excuse my language. That's heartbreaking, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Raven's my boy, you know. I mean, I just can't believe he's leaving.
Actually, both games it's my last session yet.
This is unfortunately his last week. So we have to have him go out with a bang.
Yeah.
It spontaneously explodes. I need you all to roll dex saves.
Oh God!
No.
Listen, as long as there's not a hole with spikes in it, I'm gonna be fine.
Right?
Oh, and one more thing. On my other character, I rolled a 12, a 16, and the rest 15s. He's a gangster.
You had some really good rolls on that guy. So I've actually had a few party members of yours say they're a little bit jealous of your rolls. Because you rolled too well.
I know ISO is. I talk shit to him all the time on Discord.
Alright, so back to this game though, because that's where we're at. It is now.
You're right.
You all have completed here. You guys collect the things in the area you wish, and you head out.
The booty.
So, unless there's anything else you want to do here, you can head back to town.
But how much did we collect as far as getting a level? Because I know this is a trader game, you know, Viking's a trader game. How much did we collect to move towards a level?
Well, you probably need to get to town so you can count it.
All right, word. That's cool. I'll send Farrah up to scout.
Lamb looks at Beric and Harath, Ron Sandin, and goes, "Should we collapse the entrance on the way out?"
No, that wouldn't be a good idea. Half the tombs here still belong to heroes, whose bodies rest here unmolested. It was only the corrupt that were risen back to life. However, Hraf, I don't know if you can manage it, but is there any way that you could write a rune of protection, even if not through your magics? Maybe Odin will see it and give it his blessing.
I could put that over the entrance. That's entirely possible.
That'd be wonderful, even if it's just words, even if Odin never sees it and people just feel safer here. People should be able to visit the dead.
Yes.
You know, any of the family members of these ones have long been gone. These are ancient tombs.
Yeah,
It's
but
not the
I
current
always kind
burial
of
ground.
pictured it, especially with the decorum that we found in a lot of these places. I kind of figure it being like the tomb of the unknown soldier,
Mhm.
or like George Washington's grave, or Arlington Cemetery. The people who knew them at the time that they were alive probably are nothing but dust, but it's their actions or the impact that they've had on the land that people come to remember. So he's thinking of this more like he'd like to see priests eventually come back here and start maintaining the place.
Okay.
But it's so horrible in here. There's so much blood, so many weird, horrible inscriptions. It would be nice if they were like,
Cleaned
okay,
it up.
so it's been clean. Yeah,
So,
I'm basically thinking of like
Um,
the yellow X in zombie games, where when you clear a city
Yeah.
block, you paint a yellow X on a sign, meaning clear.
you think there's some written word somewhere about these guys back in town? You know.
No one's left.
It's very possible. If not at that town, at the town where the big temple was that we took Raph, because that's more of the religious seat.
I just thought that was a good question.
This is actually one of 5 tomb mounds, or dungeons, if you want to call
Oh
them that.
my goodness.
And
The Vikings call them barrows.
they're all right in this area. And these are the ancient tombs, not the more current ones. And so there's 5 mounds of ancient tombs that were basically long past. And so that's why I pulled up the map here to show everyone. There's actually 5 mounds.
Do we need to clear the other 4, or do we can just carry on with taking care of the town and stuff?
It was this one in particular that we were having issues with. We were told about some weird, strange occurrences, and then when we first approached, it was this one that caught our attention. And even though we didn't complete the dungeon, even after we left the second time, reports of strange stuff happening did reduce quite a bit. So it's a good indication that this was the one that we had to purge.
Sounds
Correct.
good to me.
Upon hearing that, Lamb goes, "What's the possibility that this was just a misdirection?"
100%. I think. Why did I say 100% again? That's not Viking. I believe that it was a misdirection. I believe that we did find the female footprints of the same shoe size as Plaid's lady friend, who was forcefully married to Vigo.
Wait, she's married?
Yeah, Vargar. The woman's a married woman to an evil man.
She's off the market, buddy.
No. She's on the market. Because you can always call him out. If he dies, she's free. You could do it on one-on-one duel, or we could do it on the battlefield.
Yeah. And you got me, and Ray saying we can take them, dude. No problem.
That would be dishonorable.
Okay.
Someone thinks so. Unfortunately, Vigos brought it upon himself when he did his dishonorable duel. So now everybody has a burning fire of anger in their eyes that sees it as his comeuppance, his dues. He deserves to suffer the same that he's done to other people. Odin will not want him to walk this earth. But I believe we were sent here by the old Jarl while he was under the influence of Vigo, because either we would die here or we would be severely delayed. It was, after all, our old mentor that Vigo killed.
With those thoughts in your mind and what you've collected in hand, you head out of the dungeon. The tomb of the dead is now left for the dead, and you head back towards the town.
So Rhysand's not gonna walk on the street. He's gonna put Farah up as a scout, and he's gonna stay like 15 feet into the woods or something like that off the street to scout, because he doesn't like walking on the streets where people can see him. He's sneaky.
Now, just to bring everyone up, what are unfinished tasks or things that have been mentioned that you guys can remember? There's a few of them. I want to actually see what people can actually remember before I start saying, just in case I missed any in my trying to recall.
I
From
know.
Bjork's. Oh, go ahead, Plaid.
No,
You
I was
first.
I was actually gonna. It wasn't a Vargar thing. It was gonna be a Bjork thing. I was trying to remember. Don't you still have to make your boat?
Yeah, that's my life goal, but I think over the last... Seeing that village get raided was really hard on Bjork. And, because the last time his father was asked to build boats in reaction to something like this, his father was made to rush the boats, and then when they didn't perform, he was blamed for it and defamed for it. So Bjork is hesitant to start on his boat, which would be his boat, because he's afraid, and he does trust the new Jarl. He raised one of my childhood friends. The new Jarl might be cool and compassionate about it, but there's a lot of tension, a lot of stress, and I'm afraid that if I'm rushed, I won't build quality boats. So now Bjork's mind has kind of shifted. But one of which is he really wants to help Vargar, believe it or not. Because Vargar's situation and his connection with this woman is very much something that Vigo holds dear, and Bjork doesn't know why.
I had a question. I wrote a note down. There was a stillborn.
Yes, that's part of the ritual.
And I was going to do some healing on it, like basically make it look a little more presentable and give it a proper burial.
Mm-hmm.
I think is
You'd said you were going to do that last session. So I kind of said that while they were collecting loot, I kind of, in my mind, that you were dealing with
what we could say?
Proper burial.
We could say that as we left the dungeon, after you put the runes on the door, we gave it a proper pyre burial there in the forest.
I could do that. I got
Okay.
2 ways of doing that.
I think that's really cool to have all of us, after all of this work is done, just stand there and dispose of the body properly. I think it's really good for all of us. And I think it will show Reese a little more of who we as a people are. Because he's still so new, he's not familiar with our culture as a whole.
Mm-hmm. Lambast isn't totally either. He's servitude brought in.
And then I just think it'd be respectful. I really liked. Yeah, exactly. I think when Haraf mentioned that, Bjork was like, "Yeah, we have to do that, and we can't bury it because it has no belongings.
Mm-hmm.
So we'd have to burn it to send it to Valhalla."
So you guys go to the woods and perform the ritual. And Vargar, you would actually be familiar with some of this because you still follow the same pantheon and were in civilized area. It's a different variant of what you've done and seen, but there's a lot of similarities.
Yeah, normally we would have a boat.
Oh, great, Plaid! Rub it in.
If you were able to, you would. The poorer people still don't get that, and so there is lesser forms that for those. And so yes, this is an acceptable option. I need Bjork and Harath to roll a wisdom-based religion check.
Oh, that's good. I get a +1 to extra to that. So
You son of a bitch, dime.
What?
I was like, ooh, religion. Oh, wisdom. So let's see. I rolled a 19, and with my, let me check. plus 0, that's a 19.
And for Raven?
Oh my goodness. Subtract 10 from that. That's what I got, 9.
Wow.
That is not possible.
That works out. So, well, Hraf is focused on
Hraf is getting ready
performing
to,
the ceremony. You're actually watching, and you notice a figure. You can't fully see it descend and depart. And when it departs, it has something or someone with it.
After the ceremony, I'll put my hand on Hraf's back. You did it. While you were focusing on the ritual, I saw a Valkyrie descend and take the baby to Valhalla.
Okay, Reese.
Maybe not
is
Valhalla, but
Reese is totally freaked out. Reese tries to run up and get ready for combat when he sees the Valkyrie come down.
no, you don't
And
see
when
it.
the Valkyrie-
You don't see it.
Oh, I don't see it? Okay.
No.
Never mind. Alright, I'm done.
You saw nothing. You saw Raven perform the ceremony.
Yeah, I got you. I just didn't know because, I mean, Reese doesn't understand
Yeah.
any of this stuff.
The eyes of Heimdall and Odin were the ones who had a chance to see it. And Jarl probably knows more than this than I do, but those who die in combat go to Valhalla. Those who die elsewise can actually
They
go
to Freya's realm.
Right. And so you have a feeling that's probably where this one was headed.
I know one thing that if they die and they come back from Valhalla to be a what do they call them? A jar whatever they call them. I can't remember what they call them. They have to wait till all the people that do them are dead.
In Heimdall, the warriors of Odin, isn't it?
It's a law even Odin can't break. He has all the people that know the person have to die before they come back out of the jargon. I can't remember the name anyway. I'm done.
Yeah, what Dime was talking about was that the baby went to Folkvagner, which is Freya's field of food.
Yeah. It's still heaven, as it were. It's just not the warrior's abode.
A nicer version of the Greek purgatory.
It's actually a better way to look at it is it's kind of the best spot.
Yeah.
Valhalla is where all the spirits go to prepare to die again when
Right.
when Ragnarok comes. But the field will always be preserved. So people who
Right.
die of old age that were good people, they go there. Goatees go to that place. So do pregnant women who die in childbirth and babies. They all go to this spot. That's
The
just
good
this
who die
wonderful
nobly
garden.
go there. The mighty warriors who die in
But-
combat go to Valhalla. Those who are
Yes.
dishonorable or dishonorably die go to hell in her realm. Is that correct? I think I got all of the different
Yeah.
abodes.
But basically,
spirits.
when Ragnarok occurs, those spirits in the field will be preserved, and then when the cycle starts all over again, those are the spirits that populate Asgard and carry the torch.
Hmm. So it's a
Hraf.
perfectly acceptable place. Go for it, Hraf.
Hraf, Varger, Reese, and Lambast, I'm going to ask your opinion on something. Hraf, you've been a studious man all your life. The oil that we get from the sperm whales for your lamps, how much of that do you think we could harvest now that it's cold and they're moving through the area?
Don't know how I would know that.
It's kind of like out of character. It's kind of like something priests know because they need the oil for their candles and lamps and stuff like that.
So I guess that would be a religion check.
Religion or history.
Religion check. He's not. Remember, he's not the smartest in the group,
I
but
know.
he has religion is trained.
Yeah, and to you guys, it's just as important as ink was for the British scribes.
Oh.
So
I have a +3 to that, so 7. He's not very religious today.
I would actually like to throw in my inspiration. Here you go, DM.
Okay.
Because this is kind of important. I have a plan, and I really need to know if it's doable, but Bjork is not a
I
fisherman.
think I know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. But I know that at least, Hraf has had to buy this shit and knows how rare it is. Okay. That's better.
Mm-hmm.
That's 14.
So, let's pull this up so you guys can see. If you look on the map, the stuff on the map is what Bjork was able to create the landmass based on his travels, and the water-based things based on information he gathered. So, everything on the map is there for a reason. And it's actually very well done because Bjork did very well on it and spent a lot of effort and years making it. He may not know the details of what exactly is there or what it is, but what he put on there was based on what he heard from people of that. So you may want to look at the map and actually evaluate that.
Well, that's why
with
I
that
was
information.
asking, because I know that there are large whaling pods off the southwestern coast,
Correct.
but I need to know how expensive it is or how hard it is to get the oil, because if it's really hard for people to get lamp oil, my plan may not work. It would take a miracle to convince the towns to go in together and do this.
It would be quite difficult. There's enough to perform what's needed, but there's not like large surplus unless they've just brought in a whale.
But what about? We got Reese, and he can Farrah can scout for whales. If we can get a boat, and Reese is a spearman, what's the difference between a harpoon and a spear? I don't know. You have to ask Dime that, but
A rope's connected so you can be taken under.
right. But so I think we could do some hunting ourselves if we needed to. I don't really know how it works.
The reason why I wanted to get all the towns involved is because time is of the essence, and in order to make my plan work, I think we need like 8 or 10. But they travel in pods, so if we had enough boats, the Vikings used to strip fish a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Entire pods of whales. Because I kind of lean into Raph. I only asked because if we can get our hands on enough oil, if we can harvest enough whales, and we have some scouts who can let us know ahead of time that boats are coming, we can oil the harbor.
Out of character. Okay.
And do I know what that would do to boats?
It would be floating fire.
It's like lamp oil. It floats on the water, and then you throw fire at it, and it goes woof. And those
I can do
boats-
that.
Yeah, but the question is, how do we get the whales? Lambast, you were going to say something?
Oh, I'll just wait for you to be ready to ask me.
He did. He looked at you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What are your thoughts?
He steps forward and goes, if you want to do this plan, the largest producing farm of food was Wade Laced, correct?
Yes.
Whales have a lot of meat on them.
You're right. we could convince the towns that it's necessary.
Great idea.
And then if I tell the Jarl what we can use the oil for, Lambast, you're a genius. That might actually work.
That being mentioned, if the Housecarls don't return with what they were supposed to acquire, you probably don't have enough food for the season. Winter is coming.
So it makes the whale, getting the oil plus the whale meat all that more important.
It's true.
We
I think that should be the...
We just need a boat.
No, we need dozens of boats. We need to ask the towns to pitch in on this.
You basically have to rally every single boat.
We need a ship and several whaling boats. Several whaling.
Lamb looks at all of them and goes, "We don't need anything. Our Jarl needs this."
Right. That's my point. The villages need to do this
True.
because
No. Our
we
Jarl
have other things
needs
that we
this.
have to do.
Yeah, we need to convince the Jarl he needs to request this of the villages, not us.
And I'm assuming you guys are having this talk on your way back to town,
Yes, while
since
we're
it's
walking.
a whole day's travel.
Great.
Well,
What
almost.
we need to do, Reese, is we're going to be doing more investigations. If we're going to help build defenses, gather these whales, we need to make sure that there's no snakes that will open the doors and let Vigo in. Or whatever evil magic's power he was connected with Loki. There has to be something we have to go stop and destroy to prevent that connection.
Have I seen Vigo before? I don't think so.
No.
So I can't tell Farah what Vigo looks like, so she can't scout for Vigo, to keep an eye out for him. So
You
we have
and
to
Plaid
put him out
have
next
never
time.
seen Vigo. Or you and Varger have never seen Vigo.
Really? So Reese hasn't even seen him?
No.
Oh man, that's...
If you remember, Reese was
troubling.
actually brought on a raiding boat,
Right.
and Reese has never seen Vigo. Reese only knows of
'Cause we
Vigo
knew-
from you.
Yeah, we knew Vigo was working with someone else. Possibly the people who own these raiders.
Mm-hmm.
And to tell you the truth, I think that's what Bjork is most worried about. Because if Vigo's coming back and all the Huskarls are there, that means his plans to subvert the Jarl are a little more complex. And if we burn them alive, we'll look terrible. But Bjork doesn't feel like that's going to happen. Bjork thinks that the raiders are going to come back and soften the town up, and then Vigo's going to roll in afterwards and clean up the mess. So
What
hopefully at
if
least-
Reese assassinates him? If you point him out to me while he's sleeping, I'll sneak in there and assassinate him.
If we can do that, I would love for that to happen.
That would send him straight to hell.
Yeah.
Yes.
I still disagree that a person who is dishonorable deserves a dishonorable fight, but either way. Something we should consider is that Vanier, or whatever that guy's name is, I didn't pay much attention to him, had people who worked closely with him while he was giving the Jarl counsel. Those might be the snakes and stuff that might open back doors. Should we not be aware of them too?
Well, the problem is they're with
Absolutely.
him right now. All the Huskarls went with Vigo. And most of them, actually, according to what we just learned from the Resistance, most of them were opposed to it. The fact that the Jarl always sided with Vigo kind of ruffled a lot of feathers.
So he didn't have any servants or anything else that might be loyal to him?
That's the troubling thing. I'm pretty sure he does, but we have no idea who it is. Our best lead is Varga's lady.
She has a
That's
name.
the one. That's the one that Reese knows. That's the one that Reese has a history with, but they don't recall each other. I mean, they recall
Correct.
each other, but that's not. But they're not.
Looks
but
familiar,
it
but
has-
you can't
the,
recall.
The connection hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just trying to keep up.
It triggers a You look familiar, but you can't recall the details. It's hazy.
Yeah, I thought that's what happened. I just wanted to make sure.
Trauma blockage. I'm sure you wouldn't know anything about trauma blockage.
Oh, no, I know nothing about that.
I do have an idea.
Yes, Lambast. I'm stretching at straws here. Anything you have will help. I'm not a leader.
So if the house Carls come back before the raid, before any raiders do, we don't want to set them ablaze, correct? We should
That
be able to
depends.
recognize our own sails ahead of time.
That's why
What
we
if-
need to find some really good scouts who can potentially take a look at the ships as they're coming in.
Understood. What if we lay out a trap? What if we say the Jarl went sick and died, and with grief, his brother fled? Who would be the next person to take the seat?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Can I ask the question?
Yes.
Reese wants to know about using a large harpoon, like a large crossbow, like a one you have to mount, you know.
They
and
didn't
then trying to sink. So okay, they don't exist yet.
Yeah, they don't exist
I was
yet.
thinking we could get out there and be sneaky with Farah, you know, where we could see him coming and go try to sink him. But
Oh man,
okay.
I would love if we had a scorpion.
Actually,
that would settle things quick.
To be clear, they do not exist in this area.
So there's siege equipment crossbows?
There
Damascus?
is been talk of some of larger equipment as of such from some groups that Lambast's people dealt with.
Oh, awesome.
You know what's
Further
so funny
south.
about that too? I think Bjork will have such a hard time believing that because he's thinking about the fragility of a boat and go, no way they have a weapon that could sink a ship in one hit. No way.
Well, I mean, you travel far enough south, you're going to run into essentially the Byzantines.
Well, wait,
Yeah.
wait.
Counterpart
I have
in this
another-
world.
Bjork, I have another idea. And I know that I'm kind of overstepping my bounds because of my 8 intelligence, but what if we make fire bombs? If we get out on our little whaling boats that we're going to try to get, you know, and we make like a grenade kind of thing, like a Molotov cocktail, and we throw them at the other ships.
That's the idea with the oil. That's why we need the oil.
I thought you were going to just flood the harbor with oil. I didn't know you had plans
Oh,
about it.
there won't. Yeah, it would be careless to dump it all in there. We'll have to throw grenades to start it. But the idea is we let them into the harbor, we ignite a flame behind them so they can't get out, and then they're forced to face us and hopefully our spears and arrows before they can hit the shore.
I have to
Either way.
get some more spears.
Back to my proposed idea.
Yes,
We
please.
set a trap by having a person who is supposed to take the seat after the brother of the Jarl leaves. And then what happens is when that snake of a man comes back, he will be infuriated that the person he has been trying to influence all this time and take over no longer is there. And he actually might try to take the seat himself. When he does that, not only will he show to all the housecarls that he is a traitor, full and through, but we could also be on the outskirts ready to march in and pretty much surround his entire thing. And hence stopping his entire overthrow.
It's not a bad idea.
Okay, so I'm looking that up, but I figure we would know if there is no heir. Does the current Jarl have is there any heir apparent? Is it exact? Or would it go to
The
Would it
now
go-
formal Jarl lost his son, who was the heir,
Yes,
and
I
surrendered
remember that.
position to his brother, who does not
Okay.
have an heir.
And
Would
in
the-
that situation, Jarls usually pass their leadership by their deathbed by voice. They say this
Would-
person will take over.
Would the Godi take over if there was no heir?
No, a Godi would never take
'Cause
over Jarldom.
Goatees can't be involved with mortal politics.
Well, they do have a political position, just not. Yeah,
They do.
in
They
that
just
sense.
they can't pick sides.
Yeah.
Since we don't know who would take the place, what if Bjork is the one that is assigned to it? What would boil his blood more than Bjork sitting in the seat?
That actually isn't a bad idea.
Bjork's gonna make a constitution check real quick.
What?
Oh yeah, so the moment the words leave Lambast's mouth and he sees everybody around kind of nodding, he runs over to a bush and just retches into the bush. Because in the last 3 weeks, his life has gone from simple farmer who wants to build a boat to losing 2 of his greatest friends, and now in this whole political intrigue he never wanted anything to do with. And I think the reason why he loses his lunch is because he realizes that it's not a bad idea, and he hates it.
Sounds about right. He is missing 2 of his companions, his friends that he grew up with. There's this whole chaos that he's been forced into that is just shock after shock to his system.
I actually, I see him. What he's afraid of is that one day he's gonna snap, build his boat, and just go off into the nothing by himself.
Don't forget, you got to bring Reese back to the other island where they have the Bigfoot.
Okay, listen, sir. I know I have a huge to-do list.
You okay, Bjork?
Bjork, you gotta do this, and you gotta do this, and make sure you do this.
Fall out.
Also, be sure you have this completed, and you need to make sure you do this and this and this as well.
God, is he have a honey-do list?
Well, and
Not
he's
yet.
He's also never been trained to send people to their death. You know, I think that's what he's mostly afraid of.
Well,
Excuse me, that's my job.
you said a honey-do list. He does sort of have a girlfriend, but
That's probably part of the problem too.
yeah.
Yeah, in fact, in the last few episodes, he's been kind of shutting her out because he doesn't want to bring her into this.
Hey, Dime, you think that I could get a fluff backstrike ability?
Hey, what?
Like a fluff backstrike ability if I stealth up on them?
I mean, technically, yes and no. I'm not
Okay.
going to alter the
You-
rules, but there is actually rules existing for doing a unobserved attack.
Okay, cool.
For standard D&D 5e, if you are not seen and you attack, you have advantage on the attack.
Yeah,
Bjork,
I'm thinking of Vigor. I'm thinking of Vigor or whatever comes in gives Bjork shit about sitting on a throne. You know, I'm thinking I could just sneak up on him and hit him in the spine with my spear. You know, that's what I'm thinking. But
Well, I don't think that's what we want to do. We need him to attack us, or we have to dispense proper justice. We can't go in attacking him.
Yeah, one of the things Bjork really wants is for the people to kill Vigo.
It said it would pair fine, but it needs an app for it on my phone. So what app
Yeah.
do I need?
He doesn't want to do it himself. He wants it to be a communal.
I don't want it to look like a simple act of revenge. I want
We can't. Yeah, well, it wouldn't seem as proper justice, and
He wants a
the
good
fact
proper
that-
stoning.
Hey, the Xbox.
Yeah, or actually, my plan is to recommend a Blood Eagle. I think Vigo deserves a Blood Eagle. And I'll do it myself if I have to, but I'd rather not.
Technically, it probably would be more fall to someone like Raph to do that, since it's also...
Well, usually in the Viking lore, whoever demands the Blood Eagle has to do it, and that's why people never demanded
Yeah.
it a lot. It was like the priests would help. They'd be right there with the tools and the know-how.
Right.
But it's like, you condemned a man to this kind of a death.
You get to make it happen. Right.
You must construct the Raven. And it's an art piece, so, you mess up the art piece because you're sloppy, then next time, don't ever request that again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's bloody. So.
Bjork returns and goes, oh, sorry, I still have the smell of the dead on my hands. When I went to stroke my chin, it caught me off guard. Let's focus on defending the town and getting the whales. I think that'll be a good start.
Okay.
And Lambast, whatever knowledge you have from your homeland, this goes for Vargar as well as Reese. Please inform us. Vargar, I know you don't talk about it much, but you're a man of secrets, you're a man of shadows. I've seen the way you fight. You have the ability to blend in with the darkness. There's some knowledge in that head of yours that maybe you don't feel comfortable telling us. Maybe you don't want to tell us about your homeland. But surely there are some skills you could bring to the table that I could probably teach the people. Anything you might know.
Vargar looks incredibly pleased with himself and the idea of having to teach people things that he knows. But he starts thinking about what he could do, and he starts to kind of just get a little swagger in his step. He realizes that he was expecting to meet someone, and they might be there when we get back. I do have a lot of experience, but I need you guys to be prepared in case the rest of my family shows up.
Okay, out of character, Bjork, do you think that you can set Vargar and Reese up as an assassination squad when we need them?
It's possible but if we can teach people to do, it's more about strength in numbers, and most of our fighters are gone. We basically have a town with a skeleton defense crew made primarily of slaves and peasants that we have to defend our capital with.
I was just thinking, Vargar's a rogue, and I'm a stealthy hunter. I was thinking if you set it up, you could say, hey, you two go take care of this guy, kind of thing.
Right.
That was just on my mind. But
the issue is you guys are the most well-trained people in the entire town. So that's a hard play. You know what I mean? Strategically, if we're thinking about chess, I'd be sending 2 of my best soldiers in on a mission that may not be successful, that I would rather send a handful of peasants to do. Because if it really comes down to an encounter where I'm in the throne room pretending to be a Jarl, and this man walks in with his entourage, you guys are dead, the whole plan falls apart.
Okay, great role playing. Great, I love it. Yeah, I love it. I love the whole thing.
For out of game context, basically Reese and Vargar have to go assemble the American and the Canadian soldiers, and we have to make a little devil brigade. That's what we have to do.
You have to do the talking though, because Reese is not he grunts and stuff. He doesn't talk very well.
Yorick, as they're approaching the town, kind of stops the group. Hraf and Lambast, what do you guys think of this? Let's tell the Jarl's brother this is the plan. We'll put me in the seat, and the Jarl's brother can return to the blacksmith. And it'll look like I took the position.
And I will be your goatee.
Right. And then if you and I pass, Hraf, and we ascend to Valhalla, the true Jarl will be safe in the blacksmith.
And I'm not sure about this, but doesn't the Jarl deserve a bodyguard? Couldn't Lambast play that role?
Labast, would you be my Thane?
I could be. However, I see a problem with all of this.
Oh no.
Beast.
While the current Jarl needs to be in on it already, no matter what we do, we jeopardize the Jarl because if you are killed, wouldn't he technically become the Jarl? Or wouldn't Bagor be more close to killing the blacksmith? Because isn't he, as far as I know, he's very well loved by the people. And because he is the brother of the late Jarl, even if that guy kills you, he still might go and kill the blacksmith.
That's true. I don't know how it is in your homeland, Lambast, but those that can work steel, they're the rarest people ever. Rarer than goatees, rarer than a woman, shield maiden who can give birth to 3 babies at the same time. People who can work steel are a gift from Asgard.
Then he
My
could
thought
slay them
is-
or chain him up easily.
That's true. My thought is, if he and the rest of the peasants looked unassuming, but really underneath hay bales, underneath cloths, they have shields, axes, and armor. You know, if Vigo wants to be a Jarl, he's not going to kill the whole town. He needs the town in order to be a Jarl. And if they act like unassuming peasants, and after the fight hits the shores, they all surrender, the blacksmith has no part in the fight, he's just standing there. When Vigo comes in to deal with us, if a fight happens, then the real Jarl can start organizing troops for a counteroffensive that Vigo will not anticipate. He will have expended all of his energy to us. Or at least, that's what I think he would do.
Thinking about this, Jarl, you are correct about metalworking being more rare. However, Lambast, you are familiar with the fact that it's actually fairly common where you come from. Basically, anyone who wants to be a priest is also a smith. You can't be a priest and not have some skill in crafting of metals.
Lambast goes, if this plan fails and we fall and this evil person takes the stand or takes the throne with the House Carls in tow, no one, including the blacksmith, could rise against him. The power of authority would fall upon him, and the townsfolk would be in their own personal hell if this is how he wishes to run things. Do you
That's
wish
why-
to sacrifice them to that over this? Or
That's why the fight in the beginning is so important. Take out as many of the ships as we can.
should we, when the guy walks into the throne room with the House Carls, would it be unhonorable to take them captive immediately as soon as he sees you on the throne?
Well, the trouble is the Huskarls don't like him. In fact, when the Jarl listened to his words as an advisor, many of the Huskarls were upset. In fact, my master was a Huskarl who was killed by Vigo in a dishonorable conflict.
Parker?
They have no idea that the old Jarl has stepped down. They have no idea that we are on to Vigo.
Farger,
ahead,
dex
sorry.
save.
Dex save. Oh shit.
Mm-hmm.
That is 10. 12.
So, you guys are... You remember how Jotnar got his club, Bjork? You're about at that point, so you're just outside of town a little ways. Like you see the gates. You're right there, right? All of a sudden, you hear Vargar scream and faceplant in a puddle of mud. Vargar, you hear a familiar voice that you've not heard from quite a while, but you know it. Now, Vargar, I taught you better than that. You should always be on your guard. And why are you not where I told you to be? You guys hear the voice, but you see nothing.
What about Farah?
She saw nothing.
Really? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Are you okay, Vargar?
I mean, she saw Vargar faceplant in a puddle of mud.
Instinctively, like he hears Lambast speak to him, but instinctively he turns and casts his eyes down, and he's like, I was tasked to clear out a burial
We
mound.
took him captive.
That is not true. I've already
Yes, it
done my
is.
homework. You see this
He's a
lady
follower of
step
Loki.
out who looks fairly
Who says now he's an
older than the rest of you. However, she's very well built and she looks fairly aggressive and capable. You notice a distinct similarity in hair color to Vargar. You could say identical hair color, in fact, except hers is starting to turn a little lighter. And she has a quarterstaff in her hand.
Bjork hasn't drawn his weapon or pointed his spear. It's still in the rested upright, his left hand on his hip. Says, Vargar, you're in control of this situation. She didn't buy my tricks. Fortunately, I don't take after Loki. You let me know what you want done. I will do it. And he's watching her, but at the same time, he's letting Vargar know, I'm not going to split this lady's gut open unless you want me to. Or
Hey,
try.
Vargar. See a friend?
She is family.
Oh, well, you can come and drink with us. You want to be our extra blade?
No. But thank you for the offer. I have other duties that I need to perform.
You know, lady, and I call her lady in the flattering way, not like, hey, lady.
Mm-hmm.
You know, lady, it is often considered an insult in my culture to turn away an invitation. At least let me, the Jarl of this town, treat you to a drink.
Oh, I've already spoken with the Jarl.
Fuck.
Believe me, Bjork, friend. You cannot lie to my mother.
Oh, she's your mom.
Sort of takes a couple steps back. I see what this is. Well, it's nice to meet you, miss or lady.
She starts glaring at Vargar like, it's proper to introduce people.
My apologies, mother. This is Vilga. She is of the council from my homeland. She is a vulva of freak.
A vulva. And what, just a reminder, what the lore on vulva is, or do we know?
Reese is absolutely lost.
Sorry. I was hoping that wouldn't come. Y'all, you want to explain vulva? I'm about to cough again, I feel like.
Wow, we make 2 peas in a pod. So basically, there's different types of words for priests, because there's multiple classifications of them. For example, a Godi is usually a priest that's connected with Odin and stuff, and then you have Seithkonas. Seithkonas are like seers. A Volva is specifically a northern Germanic version of the seer. So those were the Danes, not the Norsemen. They are a more violent, aggressive, seafaring group. So this lady is basically a seer of the sea, if you think of it that way.
Now, Freya is associated with them. Would I have a chance of knowing that?
She's not Freya. She's Frigg.
No. Sorry. Yeah, but has a connection with the one I had Freyga, or no? That's not the right one.
There's Freya, Freyr, and Frigg. They are three separate.
I have to write this down. I got the one with the boar.
Freya and Freyr are siblings. And the one with the boar is Freyr. He is often seen with a sword and a boar companion. The sword is sheathed because he has the boar to assist him. He's god of nature. Life, fertility.
Spell that for me, please.
Freyr.
Thank you.
Freya is of fertility, love, beauty, magic, war, death. She is the sister of Freyr, and her symbol tends to be the falcon. Then you have Frigg, who is the wife of Odin. She also covers marriage, fertility, family, civilization, and prophecy. Her symbol is the cat. A good way to tell if you're talking about Freya and Freyr and Freya is if it's blonde hair, or Frigg is black, or at least a very dark brown.
He is the I guess you could say the mortal enemy of Loki.
I mean, most of them don't like Loki.
in the Ada.
Well, hold on.
Okay,
Frigg's children are Balder and Horder. Balder was actually convinced by Loki to murder his brother in dishonorable combat, thereby causing Balder to go to hell. So, Frigg definitely hates Loki because her son was invulnerable except to one option, and he played tricks to make it happen.
That's mistletoe.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why when one of the first things he showed you as a symbol was mistletoe. The first time you met Vargar today.
What I'm asking is, would I get a chance to do another religion check to see if I can clue in on this, or is it just to
clue in on this? Meaning?
Primarily, I guess I would say it's on Vargar.
You would be suspicious that he said that his mother is a vulva of Frigg, and yet he serves Loki, because you know they're not on good terms.
Okay, yes, that's what I mean. Do I have a chance to know that? Yeah.
You know that Frigg and Loki are not on good terms. That is something you would know.
But then again, neither are Vargar and his mother.
Yeah, I will say though, Raph, you may notice that Bjork is not making any motion of surprise. Like, it's either he's not connecting the dots that they should be mortal enemies, or it's that he's not worried about them being enemies, which is kind of weird.
Right, let me see if I would even notice that. Wow. Insight 14. I'm gonna say he notices that, but he knows enough to just, and also because Bjork isn't reacting to this, he thinks there's something else. So, and not that he would draw a weapon anyway, because he can. So, but he's cautious, but he's not doing anything aggressive.
Volva, huh? Excuse me. I do not know my manners. And I'm going to slip out 10 silver coins and hand it to her.
She looks at you. Is there something you need?
No. Just honor regained. I know that you can use this to your advantage.
I could, but I have enough for now. I know you will all be needing it very soon. You notice in her other hand, she has a bunch of bones with markings on them.
That bad, huh?
Oh. Some yes, some no. I just know you'll be needing it soon.
Thank you.
Reese notices the bones, and he's very interested because he thinks it's a trophy. That's as far as I'm going to go with it. I'm just saying, like, he notices the bones and he thinks it's a trophy, like he wears on his back, you know. But I'm not going to go any further with it.
What is the relationship between Odin and? Sorry, I'm trying to keep all the names one. Which one?
Frigg.
Frigg.
Frigg and Odin are married.
And so
they are the parents of Baldur.
Okay, so Frigg is who she is. The mother is associated with.
Yes.
Volva. Okay.
Odin's wife's priest stands before you. Priestess.
So obviously, I will know what I guess an appropriate greeting between me and her would be then. Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, you would remember that your recent event of the funeral you held, Bjork mentioned that a servant of Frigg came and collected the child.
Oh, I thought you said Valkyrie, but I guess. Okay.
Who do the Valkyries serve?
Frigg, then I guess, right?
Both Valhalla. They serve both Odin and Frigg.
Right.
They're basically like the Ubers to either Valhalla or the field. Yeah, the Ubers, the Lyft drivers, you know.
They're the spirit lifters.
Okay, then, greetings, then, and he'll, if it's a bow or however, whatever honorific.
If I may, I could tell you guys what it would probably be, but it's up to Dime.
Yeah, I'd like to hear what it traditionally was. You are a lot more knowledgeable and learned on the historical.
Traditionally, Hraf, you would grab her hand and lick her palm.
Tasty.
Then if Dime is okay with that, then that's what he would do then, if that's the appropriate greeting.
I have to ask why.
So Godis believed in no sight, right? So they sometimes they were blindfolded, sometimes, you know, in the show The Vikings, it was very dramatic. His eyes were all messed up. But the reason for that stuff is he had to rely on his other senses. So Godis get their sense through all of their other senses, since they cannot see.
So they would recognize someone as the wife of their god by licking her hand? basically.
Well, you said it's a vulva. What he would do is he'd lick her hand and it would create a connection between the two of them, spiritual connection. Just like for her, rolling bones with a priest about the world. It's not usually when you roll bones, it's about events or about people directly, but she would roll bones about Ragnarok. So Hraf would lick her hand. That establishes a connection between the two, and if she wanted to reciprocate, she would basically try to fortune tell how far away Ragnarok is.
That's cool. Weird, but cool.
Very cool.
I'm all
And,
for
and
that.
also the idea of licking the palm, the reason why it's such a sacred thing is because the Vikings were very clean people, and they wouldn't let just anybody do that. So it's kind of a gesture. It's like Hraf is so clean, so holy, that his lick is not considered filth.
Vikings are weird, man.
Mm-hmm.
Are you good with that, Dine?
That's up to you.
Well, I'm fine with it. I will, if that's the appropriate greeting, then in this setting, then yes, I will step up to her and I will lick her palm.
Yeah, and the benefit too is that if you guys have a connection, you share knowledge. That's why it's kind of important.
I want you to roll a charisma check. Charisma save.
Oh, Christmas save.
Mhm.
Okay.
And I'm debating if it should be at disadvantage. Probably so, because it's the first time you've done it.
Well, then I'm going to give him my inspiration.
Can't.
As a standard roll.
I was.
Oh.
If
There's
I
a reason
know-
he can't. It's internal.
Okay.
There's no
Okay.
outward.
Oh, that makes sense. I can't help him. Got
Well,
it. So he can spin one though.
Could I use mine then?
If you
To
wish.
cancel- I would like to cancel that disadvantage and keep the 19.
Okay.
No, you know what? I think because of his issues, I think it'd actually be better to keep the disadvantage. As bad
That's
as my
fair.
rolling is, I think it's more appropriate for the story.
Yeah, I think story-wise, that's a much better idea. You're right.
Oh fuck! My +6 won't help with that, so 9.
I'm dying over here.
You guys see Raph jerk back in almost like a painful gesture. And his eye and the raven's eyes start glowing brighter than you've seen them. And he starts muttering in a language you don't know. And he's actually floating basically a couple inches off the ground with his back like arched backwards in almost a half circle like a moon backwards.
Well, Bjork's not very religious, so now he draws his spear.
Okay, question. Would I have seen anybody do that same thing
No.
in reaction to connection? Okay, then I am immediately put on edge.
Her eyes are glowing a similar color, but more of a greenish hue than the color of Odin. It's more the color of Frigg. And you notice the bones in her hand are all levitating with like greenish motes around them.
Reese is gonna run up next to Bjork, like following his lead.
I don't think we should do anything.
Bjork kind of leans towards Lambast. I don't intend to. I've seen Hraf do some weird stuff, but I'm just getting ready in case.
Are we allowed to spill priest's blood?
No, but his eyes go dart over to Varger for a brief moment. there might be a way to get her attention off of it.
While he's watching this, he's very quickly changing, like, a little bit of how he looks. He's putting away all the things that connect him to Loki, and he's slowly bringing out all the stuff that connects him to Frigg. So his appearance, details about him will change.
A whisper to Bjork that I can get my owl to come and scratch her face if we need to just get her attention off.
Unless this was supposed to happen. If this is fate, then any involvement from us will bring on the wrath
You
of
call the
Frigg.
shots. You call the shots, buddy. I'm just giving you options.
When I say go, unleash hell. And then Bjork kind of pans over. Vargar, what's going on?
You see he's like putting away everything that deals with Loki and, displaying the symbol of Frigg and just like cleaning himself up and looking less shady.
I haven't seen my mother do this before, but I feel like Frigg is speaking to her the same way that Odin speaks through Hraf. And
All of a sudden there's like a sound of like a tree just... Have you guys... I know Jarl lives in a cold area. You ever heard a tree explode in the winter?
yes,
Like the wood just... You hear that noise, essentially. And Raven, I need you to roll a con save. Raven? Did we lose a Raven?
No, sorry, I had to step away. I'm back.
Need a con save.
Oh, this is the... No, actually I have a positive. Seven.
Nice.
Where?
Nice.
I want a one. I want a one.
Well,
Use your inspiration.
You didn't use your inspiration last time. Do you want to use it this time?
I'll give you my inspiration.
No. I won't accept that. Okay.
Alright. There you go.
Nice.
Nice.
Nice, dude.
Raven Hraf settles his feet back on the ground and the light subsides. And he's like... And he's able to hold himself, because he's not had the experience like this before.
Reese is going to slowly slink back into the woods.
However, Hraf, you do feel a bit drained as this is your first experience. You are racked with visions of Ragnarok and how the timeline is being accelerated by someone. Problems. There's forces that are trying to bring it near.
Remember, without Thor, I don't think we can handle Ragnarok. I saw the movie.
Who's next? I open my eyes and I look around.
She's right in front of you, still. If you look behind you, that would be probably where Bjork and Lambast.
Traditionally, would I have seen these visions, or would it have been her who sees the visions?
That's a good question.
If
You okay, buddy?
If Raph doesn't know, he says, "Did you see that as well?"
I have.
That's a first for me. I apologize.
It's your first time. Interesting.
Things to Bjork. They just like have like spiritual sex or something.
Much stronger than that.
It's your mom.
See, the vulvas need the goatees in order to see what happens during Ragnarok. The vulvas know when it's coming, but the goatees get the visions. So, where vulva can tell the future, the goatee motions towards Raph. They're the ones that actually see pictorial images, things that they can notice.
Wow, you know a lot.
Well, unfortunately, only because I grew up with Raph, and when he was first learning, he talked about it a lot.
Getting him to shut up about it was the problem.
I don't know one god from the next except for mine. Speaking of which,
Quick out of game thing for a second, so I can comprehend what this is in my head. The vulva know what the end times are going to be like. The goatee are predicting the journey towards the end times.
yeah. So basically, goatees. Odin gave his left eye for infinite wisdom. The idea behind that is that a goatee kind of symbolizes that, so they get visions. Like in the show Vikings, when the goatee licked Lagertha's hand and told her, your husband's going to die alone, and basically foretold the events that occur in the series. And they were pretty horrible. So, whereas she knows what's coming and when it's coming, basically Hraf got flooded with like PTSD visions and actually saw it.
You get to actually see, watch some of Ragnarok happen.
Yeah, think of the vulva as having a death count and a date and going, oh, that sucks. And then Hraf having the, That's So Raven style flash forwards to the events.
So,
Oh great, I get to watch the video. They just know it happened.
Yeah, and Hraf has no idea when it's going to happen. He sees the
Correct.
visions. He still relies on her to tell him when.
please tell me that's not anytime soon, is it?
Oh, it's much closer than it should be.
Oh, that's not good.
You did see, like, everyone like, this whole island just rendered to ash. In everything and everyone, just like death everywhere.
But did I see anyone that I knew?
Yes,
Oh,
everyone was dead.
So it's in our lifetime. Great.
yeah. Oh, that's not good at all.
And they weren't like elderly people dead. They were warrior age still dead.
Yeah, that's. So I explained to everyone what just happened, and appears that Ragnarok is upon us soon, within our lifetimes, possibly very soon.
It used to be a while off. Something has changed. And not for the better.
Vilga, if you don't mind, may I address you?
I was gonna say, and at that, let's take a quick 5-minute break so everyone can gather their thoughts.
Well,
Grab a drink.
Poopy!
And we'll pick up right there. And yes, you can ask your question then, Bjork. But I figured now's a great cliffhanger to give everyone a chance to grab a drink. And be ready to continue on.
Anyway.
There we go. We'll be right back. 5 minutes. Welcome back. We shall continue. Vargr, Anything you want to talk?
Lads, you need to put your names in parentheses so we know who you are.
Everyone knows who he is.
Oh, me.
Ah. So, the events unfolded with Raph and Barger's mother. And now you are all standing here, continuing the discussion. You found out that Viliga has foreseen that Ragnarok is closer than it used to be. And Raph has now seen it.
And you said that Vargar just replaced all of his trappings and holy symbol and all that?
Mm-hmm. You were preoccupied when it happened.
Yeah, well, I was facing the wrong way as well.
Yep.
But, do I have the connection with the Raven? So the Raven was focused on what's going on now, but then the Raven turns around as he comes closer.
The Raven was your conduit to what you saw.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And then, actually, probably when he steps up, I turn to him, and now I could notice what. And I look
If
at him.
you would notice with what you just saw.
Oh, maybe I'm not noticing him yet.
You can roll perception to see if you do. I'm just saying, like, I could see grounds where you're a bit distracted from it. You literally just got racked with visions of total annihilation and obliteration.
So, would you like me to not add my charisma bonus to the perception roll?
Probably would make sense not to.
Okay, then I just have a lowly +4.
And the result is... there you go.
Oh, man.
Oh,
So you see it.
oh, I noticed.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so you notice there's no longer any markings of Loki on him. He's cleaned up a bit, made himself look more presentable, and has emblems of Frigg displayed.
Vargar? Maybe now is not the time, but we have to have a talk. And is looking at all the, like, I guess the holy symbol or something he has on him.
Vargar sees Hrath, like, scanning him up and down with this, like, puzzled look.
No, you may not be my father-in-law. She is taken.
What? What are you talking about?
Oh, that's not the conversation you wanted to talk with me about?
Yeah, this is...
Reese hasn't seen a female in like a long time. Maybe he's thinking about it.
You've actually confused him a bit, like, because he's not very insightful, but he's like, what are you talking about?
Bjork is probably over there trying to stifle his laughter as he just saw that happen.
Yeah, Bjork was stepping forward to ask a question, but then when he saw the exchange, he's just like, come on, Raph. You get it. It's a joke, right? Okay.
No.
His mind is still, and like he just saw the vision of Ragnarok. He explained it a bit without turning around, and Vargar steps in to his and he turns to look at him just by habit, like someone walks into your field of view. You turn and look, and then he's like, he blinks a few times, like he does a double take, and it's like, what? And then we have to have a talk. And then you're making a joke, and it's going over his head right now because too much is going on right now for his mind to comprehend everything.
Did you want to ask things, Bjork?
If you know that the end is coming, perhaps you can guide us, help us. Is there a way, or a ritual, or a sacrifice we can make to please a specific god to maybe fill the harbor with sperm whales?
I don't think that's necessarily needed, given that we saw a school of them just to the southwest on our way into the harbor. But if you wish to have better luck in your endeavors, the Lord of the Sea is obviously the one you wish to speak with, that he would allow those who dwell within his domain to be taken.
Mother,
Yes.
what did you speak with the Earl about while we were away?
The portents that I knew, and the information he must know.
He just kind of nods. Verger's the kind of type who would probably keep going, but this is his mom, so he doesn't. It's like, okay.
He's used to her answering, but not necessarily giving you everything you were hoping for.
When your mom delivers prophecies, that's exactly kind of what you're like. Oh, okay, that's as far as I'm probably gonna.
Yeah. Okay.
Like Raph seemed like while we were talking before meeting her, he seemed intent on heading back to the village, like to speak to the Jarl to proceed with their plan. And now he seems to be like, this is. He doesn't. He's still like there's too much going on, but he collects his thoughts. Says, okay, it's obviously Vigo has something to do with this, so our initial plan could help with this, and maybe we could stop it from happening.
Why are you here? He asks to Vidiga.
Because it is where it's needed.
That is not what you said. If this is where you need it, and if this is where fate has placed you, then why be cross with Varga for not meeting you on time? It seems he met you exactly as the gods willed.
Oh. He does his own will. We're working on that.
I disagree.
She reaches over and kind of like ruffles his hair like he's still a kid.
I think you should give him some credit. The entire time he's been here, he's been putting others before his own needs. It was quite admirable. It was also the first thing that made me start to wonder whether or not he was as devout with Loki as he claimed he was.
Yeah,
Turns out I was mistaken about him.
He's less devout in that endeavor than his father was. But his father was much less so than others.
So, why are you here? Don't be cryptic. You crossed our paths for a reason, and we all have just as much right to know
I crossed your path.
why you crossed.
To cross him. She points to Varga. Before I left, I figured I should see him. And I figured your associate here needed to, see what was to come.
You'll have to forgive me. We're kind of in a hurry. Also, this box of gold is very heavy. Or silver, sorry.
Well, it builds muscle, does it not? But as to your question, the gods of the sea are the ones you'd wish to speak with, to appease, to ensure a good hunt. The whales are currently there in the southwest.
I was hoping you'd give me insight on how to speak with them. Sacrifice, ritual, or prayer. I'm not asking you to do it for me, but I thought
Depends
maybe
on which you wish to speak to and appease.
I
Aegir?
don't know. You pick for me which one controls the whales. You can see Bjork, the stress of the last couple weeks are starting to strain on him a little bit.
Okay, well.
Could Raph answer that?
Sure. Roll. Roll a religion, see if you know.
Sorry, guys, my religion is booty.
Graf was asking
Bjorn's
to
got a
roll.
little gray coming in on his beard.
Oh my
All the
goodness.
stress.
Everything's coming together. That's
So-
20, so 23.
There are 3 deities of the sea. Aegir, Njord, and Ran. Aegir and Ran are married, and their children are the 9 waves, who are the mothers of Heimdall. Now, Aegir is of sea and storm, Ran is of sea and death, and Njord is sea and wind. He's also the father of Freyr and Freya.
It seems like we should get the guy that's about death.
I think we should summarize them on one single sea god. This is getting a little. Can't we just have a Poseidon? Can't we just this once, just have one guy?
Well, Jarl, how many of the gods of the Norse have I not included? I actually slimmed down the list a bit.
Old Germanic paganism was a mess.
Oh yeah, there's tons, and it was all over the place.
Some of them were even added when the sagas were written, which was hundreds of years after the peak of Viking civilization. So some
Yeah.
of them were added post-note. But if Hraf can fill me in on that information you just exposed to him, my ears would perk up at the mention of Heimdall being their child.
I mean, I would see that he wouldn't, but it's up to Graf if he divulged all this info or not.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like if he tells
I'm
me.
kind of verbally
Because-
poking him.
Yeah. Basically, you've been asking her for information. She seems to be either cryptic or deliberately slow to give out the information. And because, like, that's something Raph knows. Like, he wasn't even thinking along those lines, and as soon as you brought it up, it just popped into his head, and he repeated it out to you.
Good. Thank you. I have my way.
See, just needs a little bit of direction. Well done. And Yorick. It looks very nice. I'll see you in the spring.
I furrow my brows. What are you talking about?
Oh, you know.
The ship will be ready in the spring.
That's
I
up
have
to
no
Bjork, is it
intentions
not?
I have no intentions on building the vessel.
What?
You do?
We are already in winter. The on-throws of winter are coming.
Indeed.
This fight is going to hit us, and I guarantee you that even if we were to win, there's going to be a lot of work cleaning it up.
You may want to speak with the Jarl before you, progress too far your lines of thought.
That was the plan, until our friend tripped. I narrow my eyes at her.
Oh, I know, but I had to say hi to him before he spoke to the Jarl. He's my son, after all.
Yes, he spoke about you often.
I doubt that. But yes, I will not hamper your progress further. I've done what I need to. The Jarl is waiting your
Varga,
return.
If you need time with her, you know where to find us.
If I could have a moment, the rest of you may go on your way, but I will meet up with you as quickly as possible. I just need a few moments with my mother.
Varga, take all the time you need. And I kind of give him that like brotherly shoulder squeeze with my left hand, and then turn around and hoist the box of coin up and start going back to town.
Raph
You
is
want Reese to carry that?
Actually, Reese and Bjork both can carry quite a bit, but I think Reese has slightly more strength than I do, so I hand it to him.
Oh, Reese he's got athleticism, so he can carry twice his body weight.
Yeah, I have the same ability,
Oh, okay.
but you're still slightly stronger than me, so it makes more sense.
So you all head that way?
Yep.
Other than Varga?
Sure.
Okay.
And Raph is right next to Bjork and say, "Did you know about him?"
I had no idea he had a mother. We spoke quite a bit about it. About why he was here, and he never mentioned a mother. He made it sound like he was looking for a woman. This time I thought he wanted to get laid. That's why I hooked him up with the girl at the bar. But what he was really saying is that he was looking for a... All right. Makes sense now.
Well, and Raph is a little like he doesn't know what to say at this point. Like that's not. But another time.
Oh, you mean him not being a follower of Loki?
So you did know.
I first found out when we were at the temple. You were in with your priest, but I was baffled by the trickery he played on me. I was convinced he was Loki, but the old man that traveled with us to the top pointed out that I was foolish, and that he wasn't really doing anything that was tricksterish. Simple sleight of hand, sure, but even then he was bad at it. I was just gullible. But I let it slide, and when we returned to town after the successful mission with the traders, I told him that I consider him a friend. I don't think he has any friends. So he bestowed with me the secret that he didn't actually follow Loki and asked me to keep my mouth shut. I have a feeling he uses it as a shield. I think people from his homeland want him dead. So I didn't want to jeopardize his life.
That's fine. He could have trusted me as well. But
Well, no offense, Raph. I didn't realize you were struggling with your abilities, but surely the god, Godi of Odin, who sees things, I assumed you knew. I was mainly keeping it from mute.
I guess I had my own problems to deal with, but let's just move on. I think this has to be resolved, and soon. At least something that we have to come up with a plan, like that they all accept.
Lambast, do you have any ideas as we approach? I don't want to be the only one speaking to the Jarl.
Why don't we kind of go over the plan that we came up with before we got unfortunately interrupted?
Right. So we approach the subject of, hey, we should plant a dummy Jarl. You should hide, but we were going over the strategies of why that might not work.
Yes, although I think we came to the conclusion that no matter how we approach this, the best situation is to expose him for what he is, because then we can get the majority of the house girls behind us. Even if they hate him, if he looks like he's in the right or just, they're going to follow him no matter what.
You know what I'm really afraid of, Lambast?
What?
I think the housecarls are dead. I think if he comes back, he's going to have around as many people as he left with, and we're all going to be very happy and excited. And when they come to shore, I don't think there will be a single one of the housecarls on that boat, just made to look like they are. People wearing their clothing, for example.
But I can identify them, and perhaps I can take a look before they arrive on shore to know for sure.
It's not a bad idea. We do need a way to scout. We'll talk to the Jarl. If he's spoken with the Volva, there's chances that he was given
Well, here's the issue.
more knowledge than we have. Yes.
Even if we can identify them before they dock, we're Vikings. They have longboats. They will take the shore, and we don't have the men to stop them. If he comes back with boats that aren't manned by the housecarls, that means that he's coming back with people who aren't ours.
That's why I'm wondering whether or not it's worth the risk to torch the boats regardless. Whose Carls or no, their sacrifice will be for the protection of the Jarl. They will still go to Valhalla.
What if we put the choice in the Jarl's hands?
That's always been the plan. I want to give him some ideas. I don't decide the fates of people. I refuse.
Bjork. Promise me,
Yes.
if we go the route of pretending that you're the Jarl, you will face him in honorable combat.
Lambast, that's all I've ever wanted. After he killed my mentor, I was presented with several opportunities to destroy him. Even our friend, our giant friend wanted to do it. There has been much contention between myself and his students, and I have always wanted honorable combat because the sin that was committed against my family in this town was that our mentor was denied that honorable combat. If I don't give him the same, I'm no better than he is, and I will be going to hell.
Okay. I just know that you mentioned that it would be not dishonorable to kill him because he has such dishonor, but
It would.
I know that would hurt you.
The people would look at me as a hero, but I would not look at myself as a hero. I'd be no better than him.
Either way, let's do this.
So as you guys walk to the Jarl's longhouse to speak with him, the camera pans back to Varger and his mother. Decided to clean up, my boy?
It is one thing to lie to your friends. It is another thing to lie to your mother.
One's much more possible than the other, is it not?
It is, but
How
are
much?
they going to die?
Or what?
Are they going to die?
You all will, if things are not changed.
You were saying something, Mother?
How much do you know of your father and that home that you left behind? I know I left before you, and I told you I didn't have much of a choice, and that you would leave before long. But do you know what happened after you left or not?
I know that he was a
Son of a
traitor.
bitch.
No, he wasn't one of those. What were you saying, Varger?
I know he was a traitor.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that he... I don't know. He... I know the council had plans that they were going to do something about him. That they knew of this place. I had to come here just to see if there were things worth saving here.
And what have you found?
Yorick, Lambast, Reese, and there is the woman. She is of our people.
Oh shit!
I am aware.
Is she a... I must ask, is she a cousin before I...
Is she a what?
Is she related to us? I don't want to marry my...
Yes. Distant, but still related. You share grandparents.
In the South, if it's not a first cousin, it don't count.
As does your other companion.
Wait,
Wait, this is interesting.
the wild one.
But he has it locked away, and he needs healing.
How do you want me to do it?
He needs to. Just be there for him.
Yeah, one thing that I don't know if everybody remembers, that one thing about Reese is since he got with y'all, he's been having flashbacks of what made him go into the wild for all those years.
So now we know at least one connection to that.
Oh, there's many connections.
So, Mother, what do you know about the council's plans?
Well, their plan was to use you as a form of tribute. And when you disappeared, your father was punished for it. Their goal was to basically spit in the face of Frigga, as I was hers, and you were mine. They were using you to get to her, in a way. But, as they put it, you being the impudent little brat you were, ran away from their plans. It didn't take a strategic mind to see that one coming. But of course they missed it. Because you are such the obedient little man. You would never leave your father. Which is why I left. Because I knew that you could not stay.
I should find it for myself. Are they
You will-
coming?
Yes and no. They're not coming in the time frame you believe. However, their plans are greater than you think. The question is, will you attract them here, or will you go there?
I'll go where fate decides.
And what if fate leaves it open for you to choose?
Then I will stumble into it like everything else.
It's best to look where you're going and not stumble. Otherwise you might wind up in a pile of mud.
Where are you off to next, Mother?
Other places need to be given counsel and warning. So, we shall be headed there before long.
Can you do something for me, Mother? Before
Certainly.
you leave? After I go, but before you leave the island. You can get to many places.
Mm-hmm.
And you can get to places where people have hidden things and kept them safe. If there is a way that you can go to the spot where Bjork's ship is and bless it in some way without him knowing, that would be most appreciated.
It has been done. And a greater blessing is you will be there to aid him. It'll be a long winter.
Oh, and Mother, I must ask. It has been a long time since we've both seen him, and I know that Father is dead, but what about Brother?
He is hidden. I do not know.
That's what worries me. And Varga will well, actually, okay. Mother, may I hug you?
Of course, always.
And so he'll go in for a hug.
She embraces you as a mother does a son. And
You
whispers
stab her in the back with a
whispers
dagger.
in your ear, I am proud of you, son.
It's not the one you have now.
Be the man that Frigga knows you can be.
Thank you. It is time for me to cast off the shadow of my father and to become the son of my mother.
Your good companions are waiting for you at the Jarl's longhouse. There's much to discuss and prepare.
I must go. My cousins are waiting.
She nods.
And he will just take off.
You all... Camera pans back over to the other four. Enter the town. Bjork? You have to go to the longhouse.
Yes,
you know this.
Mm-hmm.
You can't help but notice your barn has people moving around it.
I don't hit Hraf with it, but I kind of bring my spear up to the side to stop the other two. What's all this about? And then I start marching towards the barn. You guys come with me?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
You notice your father adopted father, Bjork, is there. And they're re-shutting the doors now. And he locks it and turns around and sees you. Ah, Bjork! Welcome home, my son. Have you been to see the Jarl yet?
No.
Ah. When you are done there, come home. We have much to discuss.
I think you should lay low.
Is something wrong?
Yes. When we were in the dungeon, we found out the source of the evil.
Oh.
A baby being sacrificed.
Ooh. That is a gruesome affair.
And I believe it to be linked with Vigo. The ceremony was almost complete. We nearly didn't stop it. Also, I fought against a hellspawn.
Impressive. Well
Don't
done.
you see? This is the beginning of the end. Hraf saw a vision of Ragnarok. And it's happening while we are all dealing with this. It's not a coincidence.
Interesting. So they are connected.
Seems so. Visions I had, everything lining up. I know the Jarl went to go avenge his son, but that was very selfish considering what was coming.
Indeed. Luckily, the new Jarl can handle the reins, I believe, better, even.
Handling the reins will be easy. All of our warriors and huskarls are gone. We have farmers, rebellious
Indeed.
soldiers.
If only you still had Jotnar with you. That man counted as 20.
I'm actually glad he's not here.
Really?
Once people hear the word Ragnarok, they tend to regard the Jotunkin with distrust and hatred. It is, after all, the Jotun that will rise again to fight.
It's true. Well, I will do what I can, but I must still help out those on their island who are alive. And, as you know, my provisions are one of the few that are able to
I need
traverse.
you to make me a promise.
Yes.
Should I fall in battle, I gave this man, and I motion over to Reese, my word. I will tell you more about the details, but if I perish, it is your life debt to hold up my word.
Indeed. I will do anything I can.
spit in my hand, and I handshake with him.
He does likewise.
Love you, Dad.
You too, son.
I turn around and look at the others. Let's go to the Jarl. Oh,
Reese doesn't really understand what just happened, but he heard his name, so he's kind of interested.
Reese, go ahead and leave that box here with my parents. I'm not giving this to the Jarl. This
Okay.
belongs to Lambast, Hraf, Reese.
I look at your dad. I look at your dad, and I just stare at him for a minute until he points to a place to fucking put it, because Reese doesn't like to talk a lot, so he just kind of
puts his
stands
hand
there
out.
and looks at it. Okay. Yeah, and so when he puts his hand out where it goes, I go put it over there, and I go back to Bjork, and I'm like, "What's next? What are we gonna do?"
I want that money split between Hraf, Varga, Reese, and Lambast.
Shall I divide it for you?
Yes, please.
Very well.
The Jarl's not going to get a dime of that. Or a pence.
Don't know that you'd want it either.
Right. Ready, guys? Let's go. No need to keep the Jarl waiting.
Let's go
Okay.
kill some people.
Don't think that's what's gonna happen.
Well, Reese is always looking for a hunt.
So, due to this
He hasn't
delay,
had a hunt in a while.
Parker, you actually see them coming back up the road towards you as you're heading towards the Jarls. So they've been diverted for the amount of time you spoke with your mother.
Ah, Varga.
Hail, friends.
I hope you didn't feel rushed.
It is time with my mother. Any time that I can spend not within her grasp or within her reach is most welcome. And he'll look over his shoulder just to make sure.
Reese is really proud of himself. He's learned a couple words from Bjork, and he comes up to you and he says, "Well met."
Well met, cousin.
That's it. That's all I got.
All right.
What did you just say to him?
Long story short, we're related.
Reese is the first you've ever heard of that.
I think even Bjork stops. What?
No more. And that's enough information right now. I have too much going on now, and Raph keeps walking.
Poor Raph. No more. No more. No more.
Bjork kind of... Oh, go ahead, Lambast.
Lamb kind of laughs at Haraph and go, "Well, you're the one just a few minutes ago arching your back like a maiden in bed."
That's a good line. Reese just looks at you and he doesn't say anything. He just looks at you like what could he possibly mean by that? Like what he doesn't understand. He's just blown away. Like what does he mean we're related? Like that doesn't make any sense. Like like he doesn't say a word, but he just gives you this look like of like total misunderstanding.
Let's go see the Jarl. This is a bit awkward.
Yeah, Varga, hopefully we don't run into anybody else who's related to you.
Yeah, I hope not.
Well,
Like the whole
funny
town
you
is
should
related
mention
to you.
that.
Oh yeah, you're girly girl.
I've literally met 3 of Varga's family members in the same day. So I moved towards the longhouse. How guarded is it? Out of curiosity.
Standard. However,
Standard.
there seems to be more people moving about. There's some commotion of activity.
I'm gonna stop the first person that
Not
looks like
like
they've got
threatening,
something to
but busy.
do. Yeah.
You stop the first one
I'm
and
gonna-
what?
That looks like they have something to do.
Okay. Every
What's
single
going on
one
here? What's...
to and from does, so the first person you see
Yeah.
can reach. Yes?
What's going on here? Why is everybody in a hurry?
Well, I don't know. I just know what I was told to do, and I'm doing it. We're preparing for the winter with the additional people here and uncertain food supplies. We're trying to prepare. I was
Understood.
actually just ordered to take a few of my fellows who are capable of hunting and go see what we can find for food, as well as any foraging that can be done.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
So you mean they're wolf jerky?
He heads off.
Here's them.
All right,
About to go be wolf jerky.
let's go. And then I kind of push my way into the longhouse.
Before I get into the longhouse, I always do the scan for horses or dogs or whatever to help me fight. I can get 2 of them if I need them. I just need to know where they're out and where they are.
Those are unavailable currently.
Oh wow. All right, let's go.
So, you guys go into the Jarl's house. You see he's there currently, like, issuing orders to people and orchestrating things. Ah, Bjork, welcome. You and your fellows
I'm
are...
going to remove my coin purse and toss down 258 silver. Like, not at his feet in an insulting way, but toss it down on a table or something.
What's this for?
Your cut.
Keep it. You've done a great service.
We had more. This is your share.
He picks it up and hands it to you. I have something else in mind.
As do I. I push the bag back into his hands.
He's like...
Lambast has figured out our food crisis.
I see.
I have.
Yes.
What plan
It's
is
his
that?
idea. There is a large... Oh, go ahead, Liam.
Lamb steps forward and goes, well, see, it's this guy here, points to Burisk, had an idea of getting whale oil. And I suggested that the towns need food. Whales have a lot of food on them, including fat. So he can tell you the rest of the story, but that's why he's giving me credit.
I see.
There's a large pod of sperm whales in the southeast of the harbor. Or southwest. If we're quick, and we can rally the other towns to aid us, we can catch them before they leave.
So you're the one she was talking about. Interesting.
I'm confused.
Messages have been sent to the other towns to gather elf men of seafaring capability as well as their vessels and bring them here for just that endeavor.
Well, there's another part of it. I'm gonna see, how busy is it here? Is he alone?
No. I mean, if you need to step aside, you probably could, but no, there's definitely activity and work being done.
I turn and look at everybody. Can everyone clear the longhouse for a moment, please? Except for those that are needed to be here for the Jarl's safety. Just for a moment.
Okay. And eventually it happens.
Do you really think the Huskarls are still alive? I'm asking
Actually,
you as a seasoned warrior.
their ship has been found. It was seen. It was beached. It was destroyed. They're not coming back.
He is, though. I've seen it.
He? Who, Vigo?
Yes.
I don't know that he's coming back this season.
We need to be ready. My point is, if we can capture this pot of whales, we'll have meat for the winter, as Lambas said. But we can store the oil and work on a defensive mechanism. Lest these other towns want to turn into the wreckage that is our raided cities. We can all meet here for unified defense.
It's a good plan.
They're connected. The
that
Raiders and Vigo. They are connected.
That I believe for where the ship was seen. It was seen on their island. Beached on rocks intentionally and destroyed.
You know what this means, right?
A lot of trouble. I was told.
Vigo was there. during the raid on our own soil. Nobody recognized him.
He may have been.
So, we need to store oil and prepare ourselves.
I have been told we will be safe this winter except from the winter itself.
Reach goes and guards the door. Shit's getting ugly.
However, we will be short of supplies come spring, as you know. We need to have a seaworthy vessel ready come spring. And that is what I need to ask you
Why?
to do. Because we need to be able to get supplies.
I understand that. You're talking about one vessel.
Mm-hmm.
One.
It is better than none. Do you think you can build more than one?
No, I refuse. Not that I refuse to build more than one, but you know what happened to my father.
That's what I'm saying. I would just ask you to build the one as a start so we have something. One which should be enough to get us some basic supplies to help us
Why
get
don't we go take
to
some boats
harvest.
from some other people?
That's what I'm wondering.
You still would need a boat to get to those boats. The other ships here on the island are more fishing vessels. They're not rated for high seas.
Where are you planning on getting these supplies?
The supplies for the ship? The longship?
No, supplies that you would need a boat for long voyages.
There's a few islands that we've had some dealings with in the past. I would ask that you go and see if any of them are willing to trade.
Let me go raid them.
That is an option. You may raid, you may
Or-
trade, whatever you deem is appropriate based on what you find. Or Bjork?
Or we convince them to join us, and we conduct a massive raid on Vigo and his new friends. This could potentially turn the tables. I don't think they're expecting us to attack.
No. You're right. But, as you said, that will take time to orchestrate.
I want the whales.
They know they put us in a situation where we should all starve this winter. Our whole island. Or at least a large quantity of us, enough to permanently cripple us. For many years. But we are going to do everything we can to prevent that.
I'll build this boat on one condition.
Yes?
That you make sure everyone is fed. Ration as little as you can.
That is exactly why I'm trying to do everything I can. Why do you think I'm getting every able-bodied person to go to the forests for food? To get every
I see
boat
why
we
you're
can.
doing it. What I'm saying is, burn through everything we have once we get it. Then come spring, I will get us the supplies to restock. But should we be attacked, I would rather our soldiers have fat bellies and not weakened bones.
Oh, indeed.
You got a hunter right here.
Yes, but the sheer amount of people in the villages, and the countrysides, you would just be hunting every day, every winter, and still not come up with enough food to feed everybody.
Correct.
Oh, man.
And on that topic,
I
Bjork,
think
so you're
everything is
aware,
great, you know, but
I have requested a new rising of men to be trained.
Oh, I trust.
And as you know, we
You know
don't
what you're doing.
typically do that during the winter, but we are this year, because we need to be ready, as you said.
I trust you with that. Whatever you need. I would recommend one thing, though.
Yes.
My father should be host Carl.
Does he wish to fight?
Does not matter if he wishes to fight or not. He could serve you as as somebody who could advise you.
Oh, that
He'll
he.
fight. He was already... I kind of stopped.
That's.
He and the others were already planning to overturn your brother.
I am aware.
So they are willing to fight.
He does
But you
better
need
as
somebody who can advise you.
That he does.
And also as a Huskarl, he would be very valuable to bring along with me. Make the long-distance trades that he has never been able to do.
If you wish for him to join you on yours, I grant it.
Not the first trips. I think he needs to be a Huskarl for a bit, but his son's death is not avenged, and he cannot let other people do that for him.
I understand. If he wishes to train to fight, he may. If he wishes to stay my advisor as he has been and my confidant for these years, that he may.
And I think I have seen the path set out before me by Odin. I must remain here and give you advice as your goatee, if you would have me.
I believe you need to speak with someone else on that. And he gestures over to a dark corner, to which you see your mentor, sitting there patiently.
Okay. And I will take my leave then, and I'll, because Bjork has this well in hand, so I will head into the corner there.
Blumbost,
Yes.
your people, would they trade with people like us?
That's a hard question. The people I knew when I was taken? No. Not at all. The people that might be there now may have different views of you guys.
Well, perhaps they've never had somebody in a unique position to speak on our behalf, or speak on their behalf.
To be clear, just to make sure you're aware, Dump, for Lembas' perspective, you were sold to the farmstead that you were on here. This is not the people who killed your mentor, your training, and took you as slave. The farmstead you were sold to took you as labor because they needed the help and paid for you. But they were not the ones who took you. They were...
But they'd still be considered in the same group, right?
Potentially.
By my people.
It is aware that
If
they're...
they saw the ship, the style of ship, and the style of clothing as well.
They would be
stuff.
on guard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
wouldn't-
that's kind of what my thought was.
They
was
might
like how
not
the
straight out
Christians
attack,
can-
but they're going to be on guard.
I was concerned that might be an issue based on how the Christians couldn't tell the difference between Norsemen, Danes, Germanics.
Wait, there's
You
a
know.
difference? Kidding.
Yeah, they were. How dare you, sir? The Saxons.
But no,
Yeah, there's big
Lambas
difference
was-
between them.
Lombos was going off of that because he didn't know the difference until he was immersed in the culture. So,
Right.
like, yeah.
So you know they'd be on guard, but they wouldn't necessarily attack right out. They would definitely be on defense and be like, who are you? What do you want?
My
I
hope
don't even
is
know how to
me.
get back there.
I can figure that out. But if we ever did make it back there, I would really like to offer intelligence, assistance, so that they may stop these people from enslaving your people ever again. And I wish to help. And in turn, it would be helping us. And I also feel once we set foot on your shore, you should be at least given the choice to remain here by our side, or to return to your people from which you were so wrongly taken.
Then I will be frank about this. If we find my people, your belief system, your whole gods are blasphemy to what my people believe in religion-wise. It would not be long before, not necessarily the people in power saw you as a problem, but the people in the clergy did, unless you conformed to their religion. There would be no such thing as a brokerment between you two. It would be eventually you are heretics who need to be conformed.
As much as I appreciate your warning, sadly I don't see much difference from my own people. You know, the reason why our cultures tend to enslave others is because they don't believe in our gods. It's the same bullshit, just a different day.
Yeah.
So, since the end of the world is coming, it still might be worth it.
Okay, we can try, but I would be very wise not to use those words to them.
But even so, at least you would be given the option to return to a life from which you were so wrongfully taken. And if I could do one good thing before we are destroyed, let it be that.
Would Yorick see it that way? Just like historically, would I be seen that way? Even if I earned my freedoms, I still would be considered below you, right?
No.
Okay.
So a lot of times, and that's a very good question. There were a lot of Christians, like Christian monks, that were kidnapped by Viking raiders back in the day, and then the Viking owners liked them so much for whatever reason that they actually gave them equal status by freeing them. You are now a free man. You know, they didn't really, if you weren't a slave, you were free. And you were allowed to go back home if you wanted to.
Okay.
So basically, you've proven value enough that being a freeman, that is a possibility.
Yeah, if we can reach them, then that'd be great. I can try my hardest. Just know that it's a slim chance.
Still, I'd rather you, if you did decide, be in an area where you don't have to be part of this fight. A fight that you were not born into.
Wait, didn't he sign up as our shield?
He did, Reese. That's true. But I wouldn't even expect you to stick around for this mess. If I can help you hold your end of the bargain, then I'm going to give you what I promised you.
Well, I'm looking forward to it.
Burger.
Like, I need to hunt something.
Yep.
That brings to
I
mind
agree.
the fact that the island that Reese is from must be the one that your mother was originally from,
With
who
the
may be
Bigfoot.
willing to deal as well.
Alright, Jarl, you have my answer.
And I accept it. We've already
I will
acquired
build your
additional timbers for you.
But promise me one thing.
Yes?
Do not include me in any politics.
I do my best to keep you out of those unless you wish to join in them.
Hell.
Your father tends to prefer to avoid politics as well.
Yes, but being that he is a merchant, he is inherently entwined in them.
Indeed. That is the precarious situation he is in. But I understand. And I thank you for your service. And I have
Then can you do something for me?
Certainly.
I wish for the woman to be freed from her obligations.
She has none.
Vigo.
She was actually wrongfully claimed, from what I've been able to find through his writings. You notice that this is, out of narration for you. You do notice next to the Jarl's chair, which has been replaced with one that's just a nice chair, not a throne. And you notice
whenever Reese came in, he goes and looks behind the chair. I forgot about that.
There's animal skins covering the slats of the chair. And
he just wants, because remember last time he found that thing, so he just goes and takes a peek behind the chair before he goes and starts going to the door.
Right, you literally can't put one really on there the same way because it's not a solid throne of wood. It's not a solid sheet of wood.
Yeah, it's just a gesture.
Mm-hmm. You notice there's a stand there, and there's a bunch of writings. Ones that you'd seen in the storage of Vigo's room. Bjork, you'd recognize them because you'd seen them before. And you notice he's been going through them because you notice a marker. He's like, he's foolishly left evidence of his dealings behind. So she has no...
Well.
She is now a guest.
Varga?
Make your move, buddy.
It appears your lady friend is no longer tied to Vigo.
Too bad your first cousin.
I think second cousin is what they refer to. Varga will... his initial look will be of pleasant happiness, but it is very clear that it becomes that awkward kind of like, yeah, okay, great. And he steps forward to the Jarl and says, if Vigo has no ownership of her, then I have no one to challenge for her affection.
Bjork elbows Lambast. I think she challenges you enough as it is, Varga.
Yep.
Hey, don't bite off more than you can chew with this Vigo fellow.
I have discovered that she's actually
quite interested in Reese.
The daughter of a Jarl of another island, who is wrongfully kidnapped. There was no proper union.
Ain't that a shame?
And Jarl out of game, not Jarl in game. What is the classic move for? Wait, actually, could I roll religion to determine based? Okay. I'm gonna try and say this the right way. Could I make a religion check with advantage to determine what the proper way of trying to declare up another person's hand in marriage would be, knowing that my mother is a priestess of the goddess of marriage?
I can see you rolling a religion for that. Advantage is debatable.
Debatable by you. You have the last say. What are you talking about?
I try to use rational judgment on whether you'd actually have an advantage to do so or not.
I'm trying to my pro for having advantage is that where my mother, I would have childhood memories of her performing marriages for people.
Correct, however, incorrect. You should have.
But she left.
Correct, and also, the island you are on did not actually care for her services. She was actually a bound woman, captured woman, who was awarded to your father.
Basically, the same way Vigo and this lady. Okay. Okay. Then I'd like to make a religion check to check that, but I'll use my inspiration to give me advantage then.
Okay, that works. That is completely viable.
Religion for me is +2, so that would be
13.
13, yeah.
Now, Mr. Jarl of Goats, I've not done that much research on the courting rituals of that time period. So would you be willing to share your knowledge?
Basically, the courting rituals were the man and the woman could agree on a hand fasting or a marriage. It could be agreed between the parents, or the Jarl could just order it. Yeah, like the Jarl can choose who people are married to.
Got it.
In this situation, the fact that they're second cousins is normal. That's actually considered ideal. So there wouldn't be any restrictions with that, but basically now that she's officially been addressed as free by a Jarl, that means that Vargar is legally allowed to pursue her. So he doesn't need anybody's permission. He just has to go to her and say, "It's done. Will you take me?"
Mm-hmm.
So then, in that case, he'll just look at the Jarl and say, if she's free, then I would like to know where she is so that I may claim her.
He looks at you kind of puzzled. She's in the room that's been awarded to her. As a guess.
Just go, turn on heel, go that way.
And she was actually awarded all of the furnishings that were Vigo's, so she actually has a fairly nice room.
Ooh, there you go, Vargar. Your wedding bed will be Vigo's bed.
That's a really weird thing for you to congratulate me on.
It wasn't meant to be in a real congratulations.
So he'll head into the room.
And
Yorick smiles brightly.
she's in there sitting. Vargar.
And before we go to that scene, I'd like to ask the Jarl one more thing, because I
Yes.
know we're getting close.
Yeah, I have to make a quick bathroom break, so this is perfect.
Jarl, Lambastir is one of the best fighters I've ever seen. He fights with a technique and a ferocity that isn't rooted in anger like our culture.
Mm-hmm.
It's rooted in confidence. If he will allow you to, I would like him to become one of your huskarls as well.
I actually was going to request something of you, Bjork, and your fellows.
You can kind of get the idea that Bjork's been trying to, like, assign everybody else so that he didn't have to. When he hears that, he just breathes in and holds his breath. Yeah,
I would
yes.
like to know what equipment you all wish, and I wish to have it commissioned so that you may be equipped as best possible, as there's no one better to serve as housecarls than all of you.
Well, I appreciate that, but I would, if you will have me, I would like to decline being a huskarl. And also, I don't need anything requisitioned or assigned. I like to travel light, especially if I'm going to be on a boat. People fall off.
Out of character, Bjork, you need to fucking, you need to recline for Reese too. Like, you need to, like, he doesn't know, so you need to, like, roleplay that shit out too.
And as for Reese, I made him a promise. He's helping us out of necessity. And once his deal is accomplished, he will be free. I don't think he has any interest on being a huskarl for us. But a master huntsman, maybe?
That would be fine. Why would you wish to not be a housecarl of Bjork?
Well, to tell you the truth, I have no interest in raiding. I have no interest in politics. I've never wanted to be involved in any of this. I was conscripted to fight. I never wanted it. I want to sail to the ends of the earth and meet Jorgemund face to face.
And if that is what I wish for you to be my housecarl to do?
I do not want somebody to wish something of me. I want to be a man of my own life. I do not wish to answer to anybody. Except for my God. I will still be here to assist, but it won't be in any position of respect. I do not want the peasants to step out of my way. I am a peasant. I will always be a peasant. They are my people. I'm a thrall.
And that is precisely why I want you.
That was so fucking awesome role playing, bro. That was fucking amazing.
Because there's too much pride in those who came before. Vigo and some of the other housecarls viewed their position as one that they thought they were superior to all others.
Do you know what I've been doing the last couple weeks, Jarl?
I do.
I've been leading my group, making decisions, trying to save people, trying to change the tide. I don't want that, but I did it because Mute insisted on me leading our group. And you know he is a man of many words. Jotnar looked at me as the leader. I never wanted any of that. And then it got to me, got in my head. I liked the taste of authority. I cannot consciously say that if I was made a huskarl that I would become what they became. I'm sure they were good men before they became huskarls.
Knowing your mother and your father, don't believe that is in you.
I don't know my mother and my father. I know my adopted parents, and that's the problem.
Your mother was a good woman.
I'm sure she was.
She
You're
was
missing my...
far to the south. She lived as a thrall of some strange beasts. I brought her back
Regardless.
here and freed her. And your father wooed her.
My point is, I didn't know them, so I'm not obligated to follow in their cycles.
I understand.
I want to die at the sea. The sea is what I want to control, not politics.
There is differing traditions amongst our people, as you know. Some have just housecarls that are simply pointed to that position of authority to be warriors. Others point housecarls to positions because they earn it, and they are awarded. Others give the position based on different housecarls for different tasks. Warriors, woodsmen, whatever it is they see the need for. Basically, it's a statement of your authority over something.
I would prefer to be a Thane, if anything. I do not want to be a housecarl. I don't want to have to answer the calls to war if I don't find the war just. I can't make that contract with you.
Understandable. Then a Thane you may be. I was referring to the fact that the Thane positions are often not used as they should be, but often they're just all been housecarls. So if any of your fellows would rather be Thanes instead of housecarls, that is fine as well. But I would like to appoint you to train some others during this season as you build, so that they may continue the work while you are sailing, and we may have additional ships to set sail.
You wish for me to take an apprentice when I haven't even completed one ship? That sounds mad.
It does a bit. However, we don't have anyone else, and I do think you could use assistance to ensure it gets completed. And that is more what I was meaning. I will give you whoever you wish to assist you in the work, and I wish that they would learn everything they can during the process.
I have nothing to teach. But I don't think you understand. I just need solitude. I need to be able to build it on my own time and design and experiment.
Your design is
I don't even know. Yes, but it hasn't been put into practice. There's no bucket floating in the water.
Lamb interrupts with a and he throws his shield down between the two. And it spits on the shield and goes, "You're whining too much about building a goddamn ship, and you're too busy trying to hand him a goddamn role he doesn't want. Why don't you just get it over with and realize he wants to build a ship and you got to give him time to do so, and you should assign people who actually fit the role that is required of you. I don't want to be a goddamn housecarl, and I don't want to be a goddamn thing. The only thing I want from you is the person who sold me into slavery for you, so I can go and murder the bastard."
Very well. I will look into that. I was not there for that transaction. However, I know who was, and I will speak with him.
"Thank you. I appreciate it, Jarl." Jarl. And he bows, and then he walks out of the longhouse without issue.
The characters, are anybody's character that doesn't have a grudge against something, like want to kill somebody, out of character? I mean,
Actually, Bjork really doesn't want to kill anybody. The only reason why he's on this course is because he was forced to be a warrior. And it's like his quote-unquote duty. He's hoping to not have those duties anymore.
all right.
Well, I guess even Raph, he's there to help people, the common folk.
Yeah, I think we were all kind of thrown into it. I think the only one who's really excited about it was Mute.
I don't know. I never played with him.
Yeah. Jotnar was our half-giant friend, and all he wanted to do was be a smith. All I wanted to do was build my own boat. I didn't want to build for Jarl. I just wanted to build my own boat. But we all kind of got conned into this whole conscripted, we're warriors now and this is our life.
Keep in mind, you do know that the current Jarl may have something on those endeavors as well. Because he was actually just the smith.
I think the difference is, and the reason why I kind of thought differently about it was because he's been a Jarl longer than he wants to admit. He kind of led in his brother's absence.
Somewhat. However, you also got the indication recently that he was capable of fighting as well, which you hadn't seen before.
Right.
But he chose not to. He chose to be a simple smith. Bjork, I do not want to rush your vessel. I want you to build a masterpiece that will last for ages. Whatever you need to do that, I wish to see it done. Your father was a good friend. Your current father, who took you in, is a good friend.
I have much to think about. Thank you. Come on, Reese. Let's go start looking at some of the sea charts, and I think I know some places where there might be some mythical beasts for us to hunt.
We need to get some harpoons. Or you
Eventually
want-
we will.
Okay, that's for the whales. Okay, so we're just going to go hunting.
My boat probably won't be ready by the time the whale hunt goes. Jarlsman will have to do that. We are going to hunt something much larger. If Ragnarok truly comes, there's going to be a giant wolf we need to track down.
And that is where we will call it for the evening. We will pick up with Farger's chat next week.
So we're not gonna continue
hold
my
on.
story? Okay.
I said we'll do that next week. For you, Raph, the final statements of the session tonight are with your mentor to you. Raph, you have learned much of what I had to teach. However, times are ever changing. The temple is in need of someone to take my place. And an old friend of ours says that you should do so. I believe you remember Alvis.
I do, but
You and Alvis will meet again, many times as I have him, and you will take my place.
but I don't know if I am ready for a task of that magnitude. I've made many mistakes.
Then learn. We all make mistakes.
It's because you don't roll well.
We all have problems in life. But Alvis is not who you think he is.
Then who is he?
He is who knows you and has chosen you.
Are you saying that Elvis is just Odin in disguise?
I'll see you all next week. Till then, as always, enjoy the story. We'll see you all next time.